technology. Yesterday evening, little introduction to the theme, returning to our original shelter. Now we're going to launch into the message of the mood. Yesterday mentioned Jiva Goswami's writing from Bhakti Siddhartha, where he indicates very logical understanding. If we understand how we came into this material condition of life, it gives us a very clear idea how to return to our original position. How many here have been to Sri Rangam? Sri Rangam is set up, the whole compound, besides the place where the principal deity is. There's 7 gates, dwarams. And the 7 gates are indicative of the gates of Vaikuntha. As we know, Jaya and Vijay, they were at the 7th gate. That's where they stopped before Mars. And similarly, just expanding that image of how we enter the material world gives us an indication how to return to the spiritual world. This topic of taking shelter isn't an event. Once upon a time, I surrendered to Krishna. That's an important event. And then there's ongoing submissions or surrender to Krishna. This taking shelter is an ongoing process, like the multiple gates or the multiple levels of shelter taking, returning to our original shelter. The focus of the Psalms that we're going to be spending a lot of time with today, it's the first gate, first dwelling, the first place of surrender, given our condition. And more, as we go further, or more elevated souls, it's not that they don't need to surrender anymore. We hear from Bhaktivinoda Thakur his description of himself, and he doesn't consider himself as having arrived. He considers himself as needing mercy. And that's a natural characteristic for an elevated person, which seems like a contradiction. The overwhelming mood of humility and simultaneously the eagerness, overwhelming eagerness and commitment and dedication to be with Krishna, to be in his service, although one is feeling oneself not qualified. It seems like a contradiction, like stop, go. But it's not, it's part of the characteristic of an elevated soul. So, commonly at Japa retreats towards the beginning, so I'm going to just touch on it lightly. There's this understanding of sankalpa. Anyone not know? Sankalpa. Sankalpa is intention, like in karmakanda yajnas. One of the procedures of the brahmana who's performing the yajna, he needs to know from the person for whom he's performing the yajna what's their sankalpa. because for different sankalpas, there's different yogis, and the whole effect is different. Different places of different devas are known to be disposed to favor such and such intention or sankalpa. So different devas approach, etc., etc., etc. In Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Gopal Kumar, the principal personality of part 2, he is given a mantra, and the mantra that he's given, he's told by his spiritual master, it will fulfill all desires. So what's your desire? And like the Bhagavatam verse, akama, sarva kama, moksha kama, vidarati, tivrena, akiyogena, yate purusham. Very famous verse, Bhagavatam. Akama, sarva kama, moksha kama. Take your pick, or any order between, combination, whatever you like. Tivra bhakti, this is taking shelter of Krishna, has everything to do with your intention. So at different times, this mantra that can fulfill all desires brings him ultimately to the topmost desire because he's very sincere. But at different times, he has different desires that are the topmost desire. Kind of curious, what's it like to be where there's a wealthy king? What's it like to be in the realm of Indra? What's it like to be in Tapaloka, Maharaja? He hears about these places, he chants his mantra with that intention, and he goes there. Sankalpa. What's our intention? And at the beginning stage of bhakti, we may hear about the topmost, but the clarity of what that is like is different than the residents of that place. We have this standard prayer that we say, Prabhu Chaitanya. And all of you that offer food to Krishna, one of those mantras that we chant is Prabhu Chaitanya. Namo Maharaja Krishna Prayapradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Nami Krishna. He's the most munificent form of the Supreme Lord because he gives Krishna Prema freely. But he doesn't just give Krishna Prema, he gives Braja Prema, which is very, very special amongst all the different forms of purity. It's most pleasing to Krishna. It's the place of the greatest intimacy of Krishna, Goloka. And the name gives all of that. Golokera, Premadana, Harinama, Sankirtan, another famous sloka. The holy name descends from Goloka. It's of Goloka, from Goloka. It embodies all of Goloka. Everything is there within the name. It can fulfill all desire. So what's our sankalpa? What's our desire? The message of Sharanagati is cultivating agati, is moving in the direction of coming to the position of Sharanagati. So as we go through those different gates, there's different degrees of clarity, different degrees of intensity, different degrees of elevation of desire. Sharanagati starts at the base of the pyramid. Just for pleasure's sake, transcendental pleasure's sake, I want to read some verses. Keshava ISKCON, just the English translation of Rupa Goswami's rendering of 3 verses from Canto 10, Chapter 15, Bhagavatam, where Krishna is returning from the forest, and the residents of Vrindavan are seeing Krishna return from the forest. This is their desire. This is Braja Prema, wishing to be in Krishna's association again. So that's where we want to go. Then we'll come down to where we are. It's very nice. Sri Keshava. I worship, the refrain is the same at the beginning. I worship Lord Keshava, coming back from the forest of Vraja. He wears a Priyaka flower earring, and on his head he has a crown of fully blossomed malaki flowers. And he is wearing a Brahmana thread of small, fragrant and white jasmine flowers. Picture in your mind. You're in Vrindavan. You're in Goloka. You're a Vrajavasi, and Krishna's coming back. And you see him coming. The same kind of a scene in Brihad Bhagavatam to Gopakumar. Meets Mother Gopal, here is Keshava. I worship Lord Keshava coming back from the forest of Vraja. He is happily calling his straying Survi cows. So let's get into the mood, being in Vrindavan. Krishna is calling cows. He calls them by group. Oh, Vishangi! Oh, Manikastani! Oh, Prasant Shringi! Oh, Pinky Shana! Oh, Mridanga! Mukhi! Mridanga Mukhi. There's a group of cows that have heads or mukhis, faces that look like mridangas. So that group is Mridanga Mukhi. Oh, Dule! Oh, Shabali! Oh, Hamsi! Oh, Vamsi Priya! In the course of my travel, I met some parents that recently had a small daughter, and they named her Hamsi, specifically one of the groups of Survi cows of Krishna. That was that they had in mind when they named their daughter Hamsi. So what do the cows feel when they hear Krishna call their name? It's a festival of love. And all the residents of Vraja who have been separated from Krishna, now they're again with Krishna in his shelter. I worship Lord Keshava, who is returning with thousands of serving cows, with thousands of boys, and singing and dancing along with him. And at the other end, in the town of Nandagaon, await the residents of Vrindavan who haven't seen him during the day, and they are missing him terribly. We get the whole panorama of Rajas, all the residents of Vrindavan, according to their different races, have one thing: association with shelter of loving reciprocation of Krishna, desires and call. I worship Keshava coming back from the forest on the pathway of Raja with the best of words. He makes his splendidly dressed and affectionate friends who are all expert at the art of pleasant jokes. He makes them smile and laugh. His counter boyfriends, different reciprocations. I worship Lord Kesava. Coming back from the forest of Raja, his cheeks are licked by a stream of perspiration. He is decorated with pictures drawn in mineral colors from Giriraj Govardhan, and his curling black locks of hair deride the splendor of a swarm of bees. Is Romapada. I worship Lord Kesava coming back from the forest of Raja. He beautifies the path with the marks of his feet, and he wears a garland of dust raised from the wandering cows. And his garments and peacock feather move with the waves of the wind. I worship Lord Kesava coming back from the forest of Raja. With the playful, sweet music of flute, he delights the heart of the Braja's queen, and he makes all the gopis in their homes happy at heart. He makes the hairs of their bodies stand erect with ecstatic joy. I worship Lord Kesava coming back from the forest of Raja. He is worshipped by the gopis who mount the roofs of their palaces and meet him. From the roofs of their palaces they meet him with 100 manners of their dancing glances and their gentle smiles. The corner of his eyes wander around the gopis. And then the conclusion at the end. May Vishaka's friend Krishna give transcendental happiness and unwavering love for his lotus feet to the splendidly intelligent devotees who attentively read and hear these 8 verses, which are a glorious festival for all the gopis. That's the residents of Vrindavan in their mode of taking shelter. And the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is for us to receive that too, or return to our original, natural, affectionate relationship of love and service to Krishna. A festival of love. Return. Sharanagati is what Lord Chaitanya will hear in the first song. Lord Chaitanya came to give that. He came to give Braja Prem, but he gave it by this medium of the process of surrender. Starting from wherever we are. We've forgotten Krishna. This quality of love, the residence of Braja is so far from our experience, certainly attractive. And that attraction of our heart is natural. So having a desire to again be with Krishna from whatever our position is. And we'll hear that in the Daini section, but we'll do the introductory song and 2 songs from the first set. Daini, humility. There's, in the process of surrender from our position, there's a desire, a hankering, must be. Otherwise, why go anywhere or do anything? It's a hankering. But not a material one, a spiritual one. But feeling, although that hankering is there, if we're honest with ourselves, sometimes we're honest with ourselves, that hankering is there, but the sincerity is not so strong, or it's wavering sometimes, much less sometimes. And a lot of it has to do with the mind, and the mind has other desires, and we follow the mind and those other desires, and we're led all over the universe, not only this lifetime, but lifetime after lifetime. And fatigued as we may be, hankering for that shelter as we may be hankering, we're distracted by the flickering mind. Insufficiently sincere and insufficiently capable of controlling that other thing. This mind that seems to be ruling our lives, just like Arjuna asked in Bhagavad Gita, why is it that one wants to do something and somehow we find ourselves doing something other than what we want to do? Why is that? It's contact with the mode of passion, and then the mind is the repository of those desires, and we follow those desires into a blind alley, and there's a bully waiting at the other, and we get beat up. Why did I do that? Let me take shelter from Krishna, we never do it again. It's easy to acknowledge that weakness or shortcoming, but how to go beyond it? How this sharanagati is an ongoing submission process and an appeal for a greater strength in our own strength. And then further, further, and further. We have a natural position. The natural position is identified by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. We're mentioned yesterday. We're the tiny fragmental part. Mami Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutta Sanata, or the Angsa, tiny Angsa, tiny fragmental part of the unlimited Supreme. And the function of the part is to serve the whole. We discussed this yesterday. That's who I am. I'm a part of Krishna meant for serving Krishna. Meant for Krishna's pleasure. That's who I am. My true identity. I want to restore that true identity. I don't want to remain shelterless. This spirit of independence is driving me to the place of no shelter again and again. The place of, that place of no shelter is dark. But my stubborn obstinacy keeps me going there. I don't like that. I wish to not do that. Krishna, please give me shelter. Oh, all attractive Krishna, please attract me to you. So, the message I'm trying to share here is, on the one hand, there's something we need to do, and fruitive, as discussed yesterday evening, fruitive mentality is, I'm going to do it. You put your mind to it, and you make a commitment to do it, and by God's grace, I do it. And that's been our life, material life. And with its miseries and some mishaps and some things we don't get to do. But the paradigm of surrender is an altogether different paradigm. It's having a desire and recognizing fulfilling that desire is something beyond my capacity. And therefore, I take shelter. Number one, I don't stop making endeavor, but I'm connecting with that source of all power, the source of all ability, the source of all intelligence, the source of everything. Sharanagati. There's, on deeper levels, introspective persons, honest, self-honest persons, no. Within the heart of the soul, there's no happiness in all these other things, whatever these other things, in pursuit of these other things. It's been our life. There's no real happiness there. No real happiness has to do, it has nothing to do with Krishna's happiness. If our sharanagati, or returning to original shelter, is make Krishna's happiness our happiness. It's not. The happiness of the beloved becomes ours. We're not there yet. We don't even know how to have relationships. in this world, largely. Bhaktisiddhanta said, in this world there's no love. People go, wait a minute. I love my wife and my children, I love my dog, I love my family, I love my country. But what he means is, the selfishness aspect is, we're at the center. No, I make sacrifices. And it's for our happiness. The paradigm is altogether different, where it's not about our happiness. It's about, so real love is spiritual. Real love is otherworldly, it's not in this world. We can be in this world and have otherworldly love, for sure, but it's not in this world. And that's the destination. Although it's hard for our binary processor mind to capture that. That's what it is. I haven't even gotten to the songs yet. The scriptural foundation for the songs, the Sharanagati songs, is Padma Purana or Haribhakti Vilas, where it speaks of 6 limbs of surrender. We'll hear them in the first song. And those of you familiar with nectar devotion, you know what they are. There's 3 sets of 2. The order of them in the songs of Bhakti Thakur is different. But in Padma Purana, it's accepting things favorable, rejecting things unfavorable for Bhakti. That's the first 2. Accepting things favorable, rejecting things unfavorable. Those are symptoms of surrender. Then the middle 2 are we all need maintenance and we all need protection. Krishna, you are my maintainer, Krishna, you are my protector. We'll hear some more about these as we go. And the final 2 are humility and dedication of oneself. Dainya and Atma-nivedana. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur takes it in a different sequence, starts with Dainya, humility, and there's 9 songs, there's more songs in the Dainya section than any. It's because it starts with humility. Trinadapi, Sunijina. Being humble is essential to go towards the spiritual path. We'll hear some more. And then dedication of oneself to the personality of God, to the goal, taking shelter of me. And then these other 4 will follow. That's the scriptural basis. And the time in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life that he wrote this, he wrote exactly these 2 parts to the Sharanagati. We'll cover the first part. It was in 1892, and 1893 took him 2 years to complete. And that's 125, 126 years ago. Long time. But these are, so the context of his time was different, but the spiritual principles aren't different. And the spiritual principles are derived from the eternal Vedas. And one of hopefully we'll have time, because I'm talking too much. I want to cover, at least at the end, I want to read Amar Jiva. It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur describing his life. But he's revealing his heart to Krishna and to the leader. This is my life, Amar Jiva. Filled with humility, expressions of humility. It's perfectly appropriate. Perfectly appropriate. Just like when Prahlad Maharaja begins his prayers to Lord Srimati. That's the starting point, humility. disqualified. The demigod that asked me to offer prayers, but what qualification do I have? Born in a family of demons, have no good qualities. But by their order, I have to do this because they're my superiors. They're the ones that should be, but they've asked me, so I have to do it. The king crown, the order to order, demigods. But one good thing, I know that you're very merciful. Because you're very merciful, even I'm unqualified, I accept. So kindly accept it. It's Sharanagati is the mood of submission. So we're ready for the first song. This is the introductory song out of all of the songs. It's before the divisions of surrender is just outlining the principles. Starting with introducing what you did. We'll just quickly go through this introductory song. We're all followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving Krishna prema, we discussed, and he gives Krishna prema through giving the holy name and giving the method of approaching the holy name in such a way that we can resume our position in the spiritual world. So with his associates, this is his mercy, he comes with his associates into this place of darkness and exhibiting utmost compassion, he gives this process of surrender. Next. The path of Sharanagati, this introductory song is indicating, is the method for those who wish to receive this gift need to hear and follow, understand and follow. That's part of what we need to do from our side. Follow the methods of Sharanagati that becomes our very life. This is a chart showing what those six are. We mentioned them. Now the sequence that he follows, he starts with humility. That's the sequence of these groups of songs. Humility. The fruit of humility is very natural. I'm dependent upon the mercy of Krishna, so that we take shelter of Krishna with not just halfway, but full body, mind, words, everything, dedication to Krishna. Then, in that position of being dedicated unto Krishna, I accept that he is my maintainer. I accept that he is my protector. And how I make decisions of life, 5 and 6, whatever is favorable on the smith of these previous 4, I accept whatever is favorable. And conduct that is an averse to pure devotion, I just leave it aside. These are angas, or limbs, of the position of surrender. And he identifies them next. Daya Adaviveda. These are the 6. Okay. Vishwasapalana, Bhakti Anukul, Maja, Kamir, Sweetkara. He uses different language, it's the same as these 6 principles of surrender. Okay. Shadanga. These 6-fold practice of surrender is what we're offering to Krishna. It's an offering to Krishna. Madarka, Yat Karoshi, Yat Asmasi, Yat Shavosi, Yadaska. We follow these principles of surrender as we're living our day-to-day lives. It's not just when you're chanting Japa, or when you're worshiping your deity, or when you're reading Romapada, certainly during those times. But overall, the whole range of activity of life is taking refuge in Krishna by this process of surrender. It starts with the holy name, how we address ourselves to Krishna, Nanda Kumar, beautiful son of Nanda Maharaja. And by doing so in our direct activities of bhakti, hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshiping, and so forth, the rest of our life becomes filled with that dedication unto Krishna consciousness. That. How can we accomplish this on our own? We require mercy. Krishna's mercy comes through those who are intimately connected to him. So he's bowing before, falling at the feet of Rupa and Sanatana. Dante Chida Kodi. Trin, same as Trinadapi, so Trin means straw. Dante China, taking straw within his teeth, placing himself before Rupa and Sanatana, grasping their lotus feet, begging for their mercy, begging for their help and support. This is part of our yogi life, naturally so. We're calling upon the predecessor acharyas who are most merciful for their mercy. It's not me, it's not just me and Krishna. It's all those wonderful, great associates of Krishna. In this case, several generations gap between the life of Bhakti Vinod. But Rupa and Sanatana, the leaders of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, grasping their feet, straw in his teeth, calling for their mercy. It's not just poetic, it's moved. Next. Kandiya, Kandiya, in the songs, this phrase comes again and again, weeping and weeping. What does he say to Rupa and Sanatana? Adhama, I'm certainly the most wicked. I'm a qualified candidate for mercy. Please help me become worthy to follow this path of Sharanagati. Rupa Goswami teaches it in Dactyl Devotion. Jiva Goswami, student and disciple of Rupa Goswami, explains that rapidly Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the succession is taking those teachings and placing them in these very eloquent, accessible, simple to receive and understand messages, the ways of enlightened soul to reach Krishna once again. So let's do this. Turn and face the deity. 2-3 minutes, and something that you have heard so far that's sitting in your heart, and something that's moved your heart, and express this just as he's expressing, oh, Nanda Kumar, oh, Radha Madhava Hari, or your deity at your home, or Kishore, you should try homework, but anyway. Offer some prayer from your heart silently to appeal to them to help you on this journey of returning to original shelter. Looking at the first set of songs, there's 6 angas of surrender. Bhakti Vinod Thakur chooses to start with humility, and it's very natural and sensible to do so. Before we begin our journey of taking shelter, returning to our original shelter, recognizing the mistake that we made, and taking responsibility for the mistake that we made. The original mistake has been followed by a series of unlimited similar mistakes. In other words, it's important to understand that free will is of the soul. It's who we are, is spirit, soul, and part of Krishna. We have minute free will. And moment after moment after moment, we have the opportunity to take shelter. And who can say how many lifetimes? The answer has been no. Willfully, no. And that's a lot of no's over a period of time. And so the tendency to say no is very, very strong. And recognizing the futility of that, finding happiness where there's no happiness, acting independently when we have no real independence, seeking for pleasure where it's the opposite of pleasure, dukkha instead of sukha. Recognizing that horrible mistake and series of horrible mistakes, that's humility. That's an aspect of humility, an important aspect of humility. So there's 7 songs in this section. We'll cover 2 of them. I've heard this first one we're going to be singing, sung by Bengalis, and your heart moves. Just, even if you don't know, I didn't, when I first several times I heard it, I didn't know the meaning, but the emotion carried by the words of the song was overwhelming. And Egona Dormati, Mati is the mind. Dormati, oh wicked mind, oh wicked mind. And our acharyas have written many writings on, like this nice book that Nirmala has given a presentation of Mana Shiksha, instructions of the mind, because the mind carries us away from what we want to do. It didn't take much sensitivity to see that. But just before coming here, I was in the suburbs of Chicago. And program after program, morning and evening, there were just various expressions of the mind carrying the individual away from what they know, and what their desire, their sankalpa. The mind takes, and then we bring the mind back. The mind takes different desires, different impressions, different fears, different worries, different anxieties, stresses of life, relationships. There's a whole chapter dedicated to this topic in Buddha Gita. Buddha wants to know, it's the Avati Brahman story, whole chapter. You can read it at your leisure. Buddha wants to know, what's the root cause of suffering? Why do people suffer? Krishna tells a whole story. The side of the story is it's the mind. It's not something else. Some people say this, that, the other thing. It's not this, that, the other thing. The Bhakti rules it out, gives the explanation of why it's not this, that, the other thing. It's the mind. The mind is the repository. According to Bhagavad Gita, the mind carries impressions, or like the air carries aroma, the mind carries different conceptions of life. And according to the conception of life, it carries us. Just like at the time of death. Wherever the mind is fixed on, that's where the soul goes. You have a choice, it's the mind. Whatever the mind is attached to, that's what the mind is thinking of. And that's where you go. And it's like, it's true moment to moment, and it's true at the final moment. And even now, as we're trying to, again, take shelter of Krishna, the mind just wants to take us. I'm in charge. Well, excuse me, but you've been in charge for lifetime after lifetime, you haven't been doing it in charge. Look at the condition. So this one lifetime, Prabhupada is speaking like this. This one lifetime, is just go there. You're not charged. Just one lifetime. The instructions of Krishna through the disciplines exception, that's what I'm going to follow. And what's the mind going to do? Scream out just like a child. You can scream out like, I'm going to go to Krishna. This one lifetime. I'm just dead. This is this Atma Nivedana. Follows the principle of humility. And the principle of humility is to recognize this wicked mind. Amor dormanti. It's the repository of conceptions of life and desires, and that which carries us away from what we really want, our real happiness, our real well-being, our being in a place of shelter and safety. We want that. The mind is taking us. Very strong. Bhagavata. And Chachana. So let's sing the song. Powerful song. Dealing with powerful mind, we confronted the enemy. The enemy is within. The enemy is the mind. The wicked mind is the repository of so many unclean things due to past association with the material energy in an unclean mode of independent enjoyment, bias and bias index. Very strong. So, Bhaktivedant's song, this is in the Dhyana section. He's appealing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who we heard from the first song, the introductory song, has come to teach the way of Sharanagati. He has some understanding of the way of Sharanagati, but he understands the obstacles of mind, even with understanding what the way of Sharanagati is. The kindness of Lata Kumar, who was appealing to introductory song, kindly has sent a spiritual master, pure elevated devotee, to rescue him next and teach about Lord Chaitanya. There's an Brahmacharya in the Jaladuta, or a boat, to take us across the ocean of material existence. He saw me so fallen and wretched, took pity, and came to me saying, "Oh, humbled Please listen to this good tidings for it will gladden your heart. So the Dina Jana, Dina, fallen, unfortunate. Oh, unfortunate soul. Here's some good news. There's this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that can relieve you from this wicked mind circumstance of your life. Next. Shri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in the land of Navadvip in order to deliver you. He has safely conducted many miserable souls, such as you, across the sea of worldly existence. There's a very beautiful prayer in chapter 3 of Canto 10, Prayers of the Demigods to Krishna within the womb. And one of those prayers to Krishna says, you not only appear, but you appear and give your association through your intimate devotees. And those intimate devotees are very kind. When they go with you to the spiritual world, they leave behind the means to cross the ocean of material existence. They leave a boat to cross the ocean of material existence. That's what Prabhupada did. He left the boat of Krishna consciousness. The process of hearing and chanting is transcendental literature. Access to Lord Chaitanya, including through the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which Prabhupada regularly cited and sang and encouraged us to also become familiar with. To fulfill the promise of the Vedas, the son of a Brahmana of golden complexion and bearing the name of Mahaprabhu descended, along with his brother, Sange Bhai Avaduta, Lord Nityananda, very Avaduta-like personality. Although of Brahman birth, his behavior was whatever he wanted to do, like Avadutas will do. Together they overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy. They distributed the storehouse of the love of God, and as they distributed the storehouse of the love of God in Navadvip, it became a flood. The storehouse of the love of God increased and increased and increased and flooded all of the land in mercy. And then across the sea into other lands by their mercy. Yes. Sri Chaitanya Gosai, who is Krishna himself, has saved the world by freely distributing the gift of his own holy name. Go to him also and receive your deliverance. Yes. Hearing those words, O Lord, has come. Your lotus feet and tells the story of his life. So we're going to hear the story of his life. Sure. That's it. So Amar Jivan is Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his own poetic life. And we can describe our life, and if we're realistic, it's a life of expectation. Then, in his case, he was an aristocratic person that achieved many jewel-like attainments worldly. But he neglected the well-being of his own little interest. And now he's, at the end, he's saying, here I am, an old man. And it's too late. I wasted my life in getting these worldly attainments, and the real mission of life is gone. One of the primary messages that I share with college students, again and again in different ways, depending upon the circumstance and the person, don't make that mistake. Don't be at the end of the conveyor belt of life, and life has just slipped through your hands, and you still don't know what the goal of life is, and who you really are, and what the ultimate mission of life is. Don't make that mistake. Now, here it's mostly adults, and some percentage of your way through your life. Don't make that mistake. It doesn't mean you have to stop everything, but make sure you become clear what the life's mission is. So we're going to hear just the translations of this. Amar Jivan Sada Papi Rata. My life is ever given to sin. In it there is not a particle of good. I have caused others great anxiety and have troubled all souls. For the sake of my own enjoyment, I have never hesitated to perform sinful acts, devoid of all compassion. I am concerned only with my selfish interests, perpetually speaking lies. I become dejected upon seeing others happy, whereas the misery of others is a source of great delight for me. There are limitless material desires within the core of my heart. I am wrathful, fond of exhibiting arrogance, intoxicated by vanity, bewildered by worldly affairs. I wear the cherished ornaments of envy and egotism. Ruined by laziness and sleep, I resist all pious deeds, yet I am very enthusiastic to perform wicked acts. For the sake of worldly fame and reputation, I engage in the practice of deceitfulness. I am victimized by my own greed, being always lustful. A vile, wicked man such as this, rejected by godly people, is a constant offender, devoid of all good works, forever inclined toward evil. He is worn out, wasted by various miseries. Now, in old age, deprived of all means of relief, is humble and poor. How can you know and submit his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord? Dukkha Nivedana. Now, we probably wouldn't say all those things about ourselves. Maybe some of them. But humility doesn't require self-deprecation. Humility requires understanding the shortcomings. I'll share this again from this recent visit. I spent some number of days in the Chicago suburbs. And just by association and the process of hearing and kirtan and so forth, I noticed devotees were forthcoming, even in the public forum, of describing their struggles, their shortcomings, particularly, I mentioned this a moment ago, but with the mind. We consider our circumstance, we make a commitment. It's part of unsteadiness in bhakti. We make a commitment to do something that's going to be beneficial for us. We consider it from all angles, and we say, I'm going to do this. after some time, we're not doing this, or something is detrimental. This is part of surrender. And we, from various points of view, this is best if I don't have this in my day-to-day life or my life. And then we find ourselves doing it. The mind is very strong. We don't have to say yes to the mind, we can say yes to Krishna. And say yes to Krishna means saying no to those things that take us away from Krishna. But the mind carries us again and again, and again and again, and again and again. The chariot, Manoratina, Maharaja, the chariot of the mind. The soul is carried like that. The subtle body carries the soul. And then the gross body does what's within the subtle body. That is mainly the mind, because the intelligence then becomes the servant, the servitor of the desires of the mind. Here's how it works. The senses see something or perceive something. I want. That desire goes to the mind. The mind says, intelligence, please come here. Yes, sir. What is it? I'd like, or I don't like. Can you take care of that for me? Sure. I know just how to do it. I may have to take some extra courses, but I'll figure out how to do it. And then I'll take care of it. Then the intelligence gets prepared and serves the dictates of the mind. The soul is going along the right. The program is the senses enjoying objects or not liking objects, and it keeps changing due to good and karma. You just get senses, indriyas, and the field of material energies is what it is. Property. And so like and dislike. And then the repository of the mind, conceptions of life and desire. Accepting and rejecting. It's not guided by descending dharma. If it's guided by descending dharma, we discussed this yesterday, it leads to elevation. But the message of Sharanagati is beyond elevation. It's transcendence. Returning to our original position. Mind doesn't like that. The mind wants to be in control. But it's difficult to curb the mind. But it's essential to curb the mind. And so, Sharanagati, this first section of humility is recognizing self. I understand that's not wholesome. I understand what's good for me. I'm trying, but I can't do this on my own. I need your help. So then the spiritual master, the line of disciplic succession, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, and ultimately Nanda Krishna himself. Then this is paves the way for the next section, versus the dedication of self. That's what I'm going to be covering next. Dedication of self to Krishna. And the whole section of songs covering that subject. It's all part of surrender. We won't get the Anamivekana without the dynamic. And then the other ones also, we won't get those without the Anamivekana and without the dynamic. Something mixed, not satisfying, not easy to the heart. Not pleasing to Krishna, not original shelter. Because a series of gates, a series of movement, returning to our original shelter. Original shelter means you're safe. like the child in the arms of the mother. Just saying that phrase, I'll just end with this. I was in an airport in, I don't even remember what city in China. And because I don't speak Chinese, I couldn't talk to anybody. But there was a little child. He got separated from his or her parents, I don't remember. And they started crying, looking. But the crying then became wailing. And the wailing became screaming. And people that were seated in the lounge, naturally, they stopped what they were doing, they're paying attention to this screaming child. Some tried to be the surrogate mother, pick up the child, rattle something to distract the attention, nothing. Wherever the parents had gone, finally they came back. The mother picked up the child, some sobs, some sighs. Stop. Safe in the arms of the mother. Nobody else than the mother. There isn't any other, just as yesterday evening, Buddha was saying, there isn't another position other than the shelter of your lotus feet, Krishna. That's the why, and it's also the what. And Charnagati is all of those plus the how. And it's the life of a devotee at different stages, up to the stage of perfection, from the stage of the beginning. Just as the Maharaja for the Agha, Janata Agha, the sinful population of the stage of Bali. Maharaja and Vaishnavas, and everybody in between. Those are the stages of submission and surrender. So my next session is going to be the Atma-Niveda section of the songs. Any, we have some time. Just any comments or questions? Do we have a microphone? Where's sound? You have a strong voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't understand the straw between the two.
It's a cultural expression of humility. Straw, the psychology behind it is, straw is not even grass. Grass or stuff like grass. You know, straw is grass that's cut. Just doesn't walk it, it stays down. And it's insignificant. So, as insignificant as straw is, I place a straw in my teeth and come before you. It's an expression, poetic expression, or a cultural expression of total abject humility. The straw in my teeth. In the front, you have a microphone, you can use it.
Maharaja, I've heard in the third temple classes that mind, during the whole creation, mind is possible with stillness, and intelligence is possible with passion. I was just trying to understand because most of the times it feels like the mind is passion. So, because this whole aesthetic thing is moving on this, and does it mean that the cultivation of goodness.
Do you understand the question? Probably not. In the third canto, I understand the question, I'll say it. In the third canto, one of the last sections of the third canto is describing the unfolding of creation. From the glance of Mahavishnu coming in contact with the dawn, the living entity in time, contact the dawn, and agitate the dawn. And then the elements start to unfold because the dawn is the undifferentiated warehouse, the totality of material existence, material energy, but not differentiated, all mixed up, jumbled up. So the first element that separates out is false ego. And then false ego mixes with the modes. When false ego mixes with the mode of goodness, the mind is produced. When false ego mixes with passion, material intelligence is produced. When false ego mixes with ignorance, the panchabhuta, the five gross elements, and other things are produced. The senses and the sense objects. It's very busy over there. Ignorance in interacting with false ego. So her question is, could you explain how it is that false ego mixing with the mode of goodness produces the mind? Because it seems to me the mind is passion. So it would make sense to me that when the false ego mixes with goodness, the intelligence would be produced, not the mind. In my practical experience, the mind is what's carrying me, and it's filled with desire. So the answer is, this is describing the elements before karma becomes activated. It's just, the pristine element, unmixed, like air, is not polluted. Or water is not polluted. Or anything is not polluted. After polluted, certainly the mind becomes agitated by other modes besides goodness. But the element itself is the element, material element, that is essential to connect us with the spiritual position. Now, intelligence is also needed, but that intelligence that's needed is different than the material intelligence. Material intelligence is to fulfill the desire of the mind. Material intelligence is to fulfill the desire of the mind. Spiritual intelligence is to fulfill the desire of Krishna. Vidami Bodhi Yogam Pravimam Yadite. Krishna gives that kind of intelligence, how to get to Krishna, unto those persons who Tesham Satati Upanam Vajitam Viti Purvakam. It's a different intelligence than material intelligence. Material intelligence is also passion. The mind contaminated by carrying material conceptions and material desires. It's all over the place. With this passion, ignorance, and mix. Sometimes it's unauthentic, sometimes. In its pure state, the mind connected with the personality of Godhead is pure goodness, not just material goodness. Its function is it's essential that the mind, that's beyond goodness, is the real function of the mind. So before mixing with anything else, just the element stands alone. False ego contacting with goodness. The mind comes. It's already there, just jumbled up. It's manifest now. lot of times a great science. I'd like to tell you more. It's a great science. Over the Memorial Weekend, we're going to be conducting a retreat, saying yes to Krishna. The theme is quite similar to Charanandi, but it's going to be more specific. And maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this on Sunday. Just give some images. But spiritual sound acts differently than material sound on consciousness. And according to, again, Krishna's teaching to Uddhava, there's the sound that we hear, material sound, and there's 3 other kinds of sound that we don't hear. I mean, here's one real obvious one. But it's Vedic, thousands of years ago. As we're sitting here, there's so many sound signals passing. Hopefully your phone is in off mode or vibrate mode, because if not, someone calls you. There's a sound signal coming to your phone, or a radio, or whatever. The sound, just as we're sitting here, you can't hear them, because we don't have the receiver. But if the receiver is at the right frequency and on, then you hear it. Then there's sounds that are just within the mind. There's no broadcaster, no receiver that can pick them up. That's your mind here. We may not even be aware of those sound vibrations within the mind. Then there's stored ones that haven't even sounded yet, like seeds of sound. It's really fascinating. This isn't Bible time. Then there's spiritual sound that acts altogether different than those others. So how important is spiritual sound? You don't know the science. You have some faith. And with that faith, you take spiritual sound and take the mantra and chant. And now we're undergoing this little exercise to how to take deeper shelter of that sound in such a way that it takes us to the goal. Just be really clear with the goal is. Or even an intermediate goal. Like, I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to struggle with my mind. That's a good beginning. But you want to not struggle with your mind, you have to take shelter of that sound. So how do I do that? So this is a lesson how to do that. It's not just something that you do, like prepare for an exam, or write a paper for school, or do something in your workplace because you have the skills and you do it to finish the product for your company. It's different than material intelligence, material activity, material senses, and material objects. It's different. Spiritual sound acts differently. Yes.
I have a question like,
Here comes the microphone. Look at this.
the senses should be controlled by mind, mind should be controlled by intelligence.
That's the limitation of power.
Yeah, I like to know
You want to know
what exactly the soul is doing there. Is it trying to say something to the intelligence, or just it's going one way or the intelligence is taking? The soul.
You want to know what's the operative factor when things are in the right order? What's coming from the soul? That's what you want to know.
What's the relation between what the soul is trying to do with intelligence?
What the soul is trying to do?
Yeah.
That's sankalpa. The answer to that is, what's your intention? The souls are trying to do all kinds of things. Most of it, at least in this material world, it's nonsense. It's self-centered, detrimental, producing pain and suffering on the physical plane, And most, unfortunately, depriving the soul of this actual happiness, the real opposite of self-interest is in the pursuit of so-called self-interest. That's what's going on in material activity. And we're conditioned to it, we're habituated, we're addicted to it. We can't do without it. What would life be without it? We'd be nowhere. That's what Arjuna says to Krishna. But now, what's the soul? Your question is, what's the soul doing? The soul is the place, the seat of consciousness, according to the Bhagavatam. The soul is conscious and consciousness. What does that mean? It explains. Just like a candle is luminous and it illuminates other things. Over on the other side of the room, there's a pot and a plate. The flame illuminates, oh, there's a pot and a plate. So our consciousness is extending out. So it's in the form of consciousness, and we're the seat of consciousness, or the conscious being, conscious and consciousness. That's the soul. Now your question is, what's the soul doing? It depends on the intention of the soul. Material intention is, I want to enjoy independently. And the spiritual intention is, I want Krishna's enjoyment. No. That also includes my enjoyment. But I understand my enjoyment is Krishna's enjoyment. That's not. That's the spiritual intention. For us, it's a mix. In real simple language. And all of this is about getting to the moving toward the unmixed. Why and how? That's what the song is. For our situation is good. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, same answer, just said differently. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there's 5 factors to action. One of them is endeavor. That's what we do. That's what the soul does. And how we endeavor depends upon sankalpa. And largely our sankalpas, material sankalpas, are determined by, if not strongly influenced by, good and karma. This is back in chapter 13 Bhagavad Gita. The soul is the body of dog. What does that soul do? He barks. He wags his tail. He chews out bones. He does dog things because he's got a dog mind. And with that, the dog mind. The soul gets the body of a king. He sits on a throne and thinks himself out of control. Because that's what when you have a body of a king, that's what you do. But if the soul's intention is, I want to be a Christian, then a whole other set of things happens from the soul side, depending upon intention. Consciousness goes out in a different way. When you see objects, it's how this can be utilized in Christian service. And this is the problem. Here's a problem. How do I best serve Krishna given the circumstance? How do I stay fit to my Krishna consciousness? Souls do differently according to their intention. Intention, very important. Knowing what's what helps recalibrate intention. Someone that can is essential. Okay, we're at 9:35, it's breakfast time. So, ready for a little announcements. When she's done with the announcements, I'm gonna walk around and give out some Maharaja from Limanita. Won't be able to get any two people online.